Larisa Affeldt, ladies and gentlemen. For a long time, Jeremy, you and I have talked about the possibility of Jeremy Camp joining us. So for, I guess, 4+ years, we've been talking about Jeremy Camp. And we can officially say Jeremy Camp is here. So
I don't know where to sit. This is weird.
So Jeremy,
I will sit at your feet, Jeremy.
So first, Jeremy Camp, tell us how you first got to know Jeremy Affeldt.
We were in Kansas City when he used to play for the Royals. Sorry, I just had to.
That's when they were bad.
That's when they. We were in a California pizza kitchen, and Jeremy come. What, you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay.
Is this on? Is this on? Okay, before all this, I know I just jump in. I'm sorry about
No, you bring it.
Okay,
Good.
so a few years before, I remember driving out, it was after the game, I got in the car, a Jeremy Camp song's on the radio. Jeremy, my Jeremy, looks at me and says, I just feel like one day me and Jeremy are gonna be friends.
Oh, that's right.
I looked at him like, you are crazy. I'm like, okay, honey. Then California Pizza Kitchen, this was a year or two later. Then you can continue.
Yeah. So he so humbly comes up and he's like, hey man, my name's Jeremy Affeldt and I love your music and can we be friends? It's really weird, really awkward. No,
That's how it went down.
that's actually kind of how it went down. So he just shared his heart, and he just told me, I didn't know what he did, but I just really connected with him anyway. He told me what he did, and we literally, it's been how many years now? Has it been 8 years?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
8 or 9 years.
I bribed you with World Series tickets.
You did, yes. And I got to see the game when you guys beat Texas Rangers a few years ago. So I am a Giants fan, by the way. So pretty amazing. But one thing I will tell you, and just even hearing everybody talk in their hearts, is that, and with Jeremy as well, what I know about him is he has always literally remained faithful. He loves Jesus so much with all of his heart. And we've always had conversations about how can we further the kingdom, you know? And I think that is what even this is all about as well, is how can we further the kingdom? How can we tell more people about Jesus? And in this generation, we need more men of God like this to proclaim his name, you know what I mean? And so I'm grateful for you, Jeremy, over the years, and I'm excited about what God has in store for you. So anyway, I'll quit talking. Sorry, guys.
The most impressive thing about that is that I didn't really see him eating at California Pizza Kitchen. We were actually in the bathroom. We were urinal partners. And I'm not afraid to embarrass myself. And literally, I was standing here like this, and I look over, I'm like, and I just stared at him, and it was a really awkward scenario for us. And then he kind of just looked at me, and he turned around and moved pretty quickly and left the bathroom. And then I chased him out and asked if we could be friends. So, it was kind of an awesome experience all the way around.
That was weird. Are you saying I didn't wash my hands or something? Is that what you're saying? It's getting weird, guys. I'm so sorry. I've known him for too long. All right, anyway.
Larisa, what exactly attracted you to Jeremy again?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
No. Now, you guys were friends back in high school, or sort of friends?
Well, yes. We have a funny story too. They remember one day, I think we've been dating a long time, just like Hunter and his wife, but since we were 16 years old. But before that, we were in school, and one day in English class, I just remember he was being loud and a little cocky, and I mean, he's an athlete, and I just remember, I think I said it out loud, oh my gosh, I would never marry a guy like that. And that was my mistake. I said that, and I think he took it as a challenge. And then, yes, shortly after, I don't know, we did get married at 20, and it's been a lot of years of baseball, actually. So, yeah. One other thing, when Nicole was talking about the Giants, one thing I want to touch on is just the home that we found here with the Giants. And I can't imagine our baseball career any other way. Like, we have found, when we first signed with them, it's been, I think, what, 8 years now? 7 years ago. I mean, that I would feel the way I do about the city and about the people and about all of you guys, about the fans. I really feel like this is our home away from home. This is our baseball home. And just the gift the Giants has given us as a relief pitcher to stay here as many years as we have, we feel so blessed and so grateful to be part of this organization. So just want to thank all of you and just say that when I have a chance.
Now, Jeremy, you've spent some time in Larisa's shadow as she's a champion, equestrian champion, multiple times over. And but what's on your heart today? What's God been doing? And as we wrap up our time upstage before Jeremy comes back.
Yeah, I just listening to these guys speak, it meant a lot to me over the years. And Cassia and I sit down in the bullpen, and I try to talk to him. I don't think he understands. And he tries to talk to me, and then I don't understand him. And then we throw our hands up at each other, and we just say Dios and Jesus, and we're good to go. We have a good time, man, down in the bullpen. And I've gotten to know, Hunter, and we've had a good time. And Vogie and I have had some great conversations. And I think one thing that, just hearing a lot of the stories, just Maxwell bringing in his family and in certain scenarios that's really been tough on them is to realize we're human beings. And this game is very, very difficult on families. It's very difficult on just our mentally. It's difficult. Emotionally, it's difficult. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into this sport. And what you guys don't see behind closed doors is we react like human beings, and we're not robots, and we don't like failing, and we don't like losing. And we a lot of things when we see the things that happen on the field, whether it be our fault or other things go wrong, it's very frustrating. And for me, this year has been an interesting year for me. Obviously, I've had a lot of frustration, and I've had a lot of hurt, and my heart's been hurt, my soul's been hurt, and I've had some really frustrating times, with baseball this year. And it's not necessarily that I don't like it. It's just that it wasn't something that I was expecting. And you come away from a world championship year like this, and you walk in and you expect to have this awesome season, and it's been just such an up and down season with my arm hurting, and now another blowout on my other knee with my kids, and frustrating times like that. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about today, and I remember this whole theme for me this year has been God has been just telling me to trust Him. And I go into the season and I'm like, well, of course I trust you. It's great. And He kind of turned up the heat on me a little bit. And when things come our way and they don't exactly go exactly how we plan, it's really hard. And I'm going to be honest with you. In my flesh, it's very hard to trust this guy we call God that I don't necessarily see or have this audible conversation with. But I know what His Word says is true, and I know what my soul feels when I truly trust Him. But it's really hard sometimes. And you read Scripture and you read where Jesus says, I've come for those who are sick, for those who are healthy, they don't need doctors, but I've come to heal those who are brokenhearted. And to be frankly honest with you, I've needed my doctor this year. I really have. And even though I've loved Jesus my whole life, and there's been a lot of good things that have happened. My bride and I are married for 16 years. I have 3 wonderful boys, high energy, and they do cause a lot of pain physically to me sometimes. But I've had a great career. I've had an unbelievable experience in San Fran. I've had great teammates that I truly, truly love. And I have all these good things, but then there are times where it's like, man, you know what? I know that all these things have been good, but right now, I need my doctor, man. I need my daddy. And I feel like I've had that this year where I've really needed to lean on him. And no one said being a Christian was going to be easy. No one said that if you became a Christian, all your problems are going to go away. And I read something the other day that was real important to me. It says, when you sit there and you start looking at all your problems, remember to start worshiping the problem solver. And that was huge for me. And that's been my year. And in this scenario of trust that God has asked me to walk in, He said to me, you need to learn to adore me more. Because I know you want things, and a lot of times we ask for things that we want, and we're thankful when we get things, and we have all these times of asking and thanking, but we don't remember to have a simple time of adoration towards our God. And so as I was starting to think of that, I started to really do that this year, and I've really had to continue to do it. And I'm having to continue to do it now with this knee situation and a really bad time in a playoff hunt. And I was just starting to feel better with my arm, and everything was starting to go a little bit better. I've had to really step back and say, man, Daddy, I need you, and I need you to be my strong tower, and I need you to be my strength and my deliverer, and I need you to be this all-knowing God, and let me feel like you know everything, because right now, I feel like I've been abandoned. And that's truly how I felt at times, and I have to really remember that I have not been abandoned. I'm a part of a family where the King of Kings says, now that I am your Father, I will never leave you, nor will I ever forsake you. And I think he's for us, and I think he's for me, and I think there's this aroma that Vogie was talking about that I have to remember. And I'm about to go on a rant, obviously, you guys know that. But I think there is that aroma, I think there is that feeling that we have to know that, you know what, it might not look like the circumstance that you want it to look like, but he makes all things work together for those who trust him. And I get back to this trust, and I'm like, this is so difficult at times. It is so difficult when I have to sit there and I read in scripture to trust the Lord with all my heart, soul, and mind, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways I will make your paths straight. And I'm like, man, because you're right, because I don't understand. I don't understand why the season went the way it went. Some of you might not be understanding why your job's not going the way it's supposed to be going, or your marriages aren't going the way it's supposed to go, or maybe school's not going right, or things are falling apart. We don't always understand that, and that is why God says you need to run to me. I am your rock. I am your strong tower. I am the person you can hide in, because I will protect you. And we have to trust that. We have to. And I feel like when I can get into that avenue of trust, when I can sit in that sanctuary of my King, and I can literally just lay there and I can say, you know what, you're right. Your burden is easy and your yoke is light, and I can come to you for rest. I start to feel the Holy Spirit just take over, and my heart becomes full of joy. But if I fight it, if I don't trust God, if I take my own way and say, no, this is going to be the way, I'm going to fight my way, I'm going to go my way, it will get harder. It will. And so sometimes I have to learn to step back and trust, and that's been my year. It's just laying before God and saying, look, I'm angry. Yes, I have no problem telling God I'm angry. There might be theology out here that says you can't say that. I'm going to tell you right now, I rip my clothes and I scream at the King all the time. And it's okay, because my heart opens up and he says, that's what I'm looking for. I want to heal your heart as long as you can trust me. And that truth shall set you free that Cassia's talking about. It only sets you free if you trust the truth. If you don't trust the truth, it will not set you free. And so that is my biggest thing, man. I have had a hard time with it this year, but I've really been tested. But I know my God's going to come through, and it's all going to work together for me, because I love him and I trust him and I adore him, and he is my God and King. And I'm asking you, if you need that, if you don't feel that, I'm asking you to trust, because you got to trust it. I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to see God right now if you ask him into your heart. I'm not going to guarantee he's going to be sitting right there on the outfield wall. I'm not going to say you're going to hear an audible voice from God. You're not going to necessarily see this bright light, but you will see it. You will feel your heart. It will heal, and you will feel something inside of you have this joy that is not fake. It is true, and it all comes with trusting and trusting our King, and that's where I've been at this year.
These guys are very special to all of us, and I